Hello and welcome to the stories of Northern life from the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. The Sault Museum just recently was donated a small trunk of books. And yes, we do get a lot of boxes of books in our possession here at the museum, but this one is pretty special. The trunk belonged to Joseph Wilson and even has Mr. J. Wilson, H.M. Customs, Sault Ste. Marie, C.W. embossed onto the leather. And before I get too excited and tell you all about what's in the box, I bet you are wondering who Joseph Wilson is. Well, let's get into it. Throughout anyone's life, there's a bond to acquire some responsibilities or titles no matter what career they choose. It is just the nature of things. But occasionally some person comes along who manages to acquire a great deal of jobs and duties in their lifetime, either due to their quality as a person or from being in the right place at the right time. I think Joseph embodied both. Joseph's father, George Wilson, was the lieutenant of the British Navy, who in Joseph's adolescent years retired from service and decided to move his family to Canada, where land was free for soldiers. They ended up settling in the Toronto area, where Joseph followed in his father's footsteps by joining the local militia. He would then see combat during the Rebellion of 1837. Years later, in 1843, George Wilson was appointed the Collector of Customs for Toronto, with Joseph, in turn, becoming the Deputy Customs Official. Not long after that, Joseph himself was appointed the Collector of Customs for a separate town, the Port of Sault Ste. Marie. During his time here in those early years, he was said to have virtually ran this town on his own. Among his roles were serving as the representative of the Canadian government to the First Nations, being an arbiter of disputes, an overseer of the fisheries, and the commander of the local militia. These are just a few examples, and the museum's collection contains a number of letters authorizing his appointment or promotion in quite a few fields. Despite holding these positions, Joseph felt in the mid-1800s that Sault Ste. Marie could be improved with a more formal structure to its government. It was something he pushed for, as well as the ability for settlers to purchase their own land. He would also propose the creation of an official judiciary for the surrounding area, which eventually led to the Judicial District of Algoma. While many do not know of Joseph Wilson, it is undeniable that he helped shape Sault Ste. Marie before it was even a city. Now back to the latest addition to our collection. The trunk of books was given to us by Jeremy Callahan. He actually just gained possession of these items earlier this year through his family lineage. And he reached out to us sharing the knowledge that these items exist. And as always, we were thrilled to be involved in this discovery of hidden knowledge that we could share with all of you. Jeremy knew someone who had done some digging on the Wilson family history, and they had a copy of Joseph Wilson's will. He left all his books and 2 dispatch chests to his son, who was also left with property near the intersection of 2nd Line and Allen Road, known as Allen Garden Area, West Cora now. Jeremy's grandmother, Laura Hadcock Callahan, had an older sister, Rachel Haddock Dillard. She lived in the same West Cora area as the Wilson son did. Ray's husband, Cecil, was a market gardener and well known in the area. How Ray came to own the chest of books is still a complete mystery, but she did sign them, Mrs. Cecil Denard. When Jeremy's aunt Ray passed away a few years ago, his grandmother did receive some of her possessions, as the family recalls. But no one in the family, at least those that are left, recall anything about this chest of books. So we all assume that Jeremy's grandmother got the chest and books when settling up her sister's estate, but they were just simply stored away and never researched or shared until now. 3 of the books have Wilson's name in them, the 2 red and 1 black. The 4th book, which is green, might not have been Wilson's, but maybe added later. But that is unknown. All these books are poetry books and were published in the 1800s. And we can imagine that they were of great value to Joseph, as he directly passed them down to his son, marking the books by hand. And in turn, they probably became very important to Joseph's son, tucking them away in a precious box, passing them down. But isn't this exciting? Nearly 200-year-old history just getting resurfaced and shared, especially something in a physical form, such as books with signatures from an individual with a lot of influence in Sault Ste. Marie's history. They will soon be on display at the Sault Ste. Marie Museum, so by the time you're hearing this, they'll probably be up in our military gallery. As I said, Joseph was one of the founders of the militia here in the Sioux. If you walk into our military gallery, there's a timeline history of the military, and he is the very first item in the timeline. So come by, check it out. The Sault Ste. Marie Museum is open 10 till 4, Tuesday to Saturday. And come say hi to me. I'll probably be at the front desk. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to you all again next week. Ciao for now.